You're listening to Almost Famous with Jim Francis Meza, only on LA Talk Radio.
All right, and we're off to the races as I normally intro the show. Enter Mr. Jim Francis Meza with an awesome cat who walks with flair. The guy's got so much style. The guy is amazing, right? We're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show. No, I'm kidding. The show is about you. So I just wanted to say real quick how I'm pretty blessed to not have been evacuated right off the show. My boy and I were talking about over dinner, actually, right? Because we have filet mignon, and we talked about we talked about the fires and how close they came to us. It was insane to say the least. But my next guy, like I said, my next guest, I am delighted beyond excited. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just sweet. I exude this aura of like amazement to have you in the room because you represent the embodiment, of the American dream. And, you know, obviously you grew up in Valencia, California, but you're a fashionista. What don't you know how to do? You're a producer. You're an actor. And behind and in front of the camera, you put on shows with our good friend, Leila Giancalini. My man, the one and only, unparalleled, Mr. Juan the Prince, ladies and gentlemen.
So sweet, thank you. No, yeah, Layla told me she's like, oh, this guy has such good energy, and no, she was right. Yeah.
That's after my third Red Bull, and that's some special gum that I bought that I ordered online. No. Generally speaking, I pop off of walls. Like, it's crazy. I wake up in the morning with such energy to take on the day. I radiate a lot of confidence and stuff, but make no mistake, I'm always nervous. And I like to call it, as in the acting world, they say excited.
Yeah.
It's excitement, right?
I feel like most people in the industry are like introvert, extrovert.
Yeah.
Like,
most definitely.
Even though we've been in front of the camera so much, I always still get nervous. Like, not so much this where it's a conversation, but today even, I had to film a little something in the morning and
very cool.
Still like get butterflies. You never get used to it. I don't, at least.
I don't either. It's almost like a production on stage,
Yeah.
You get on the board, so to speak, and it's like, what? Every day it's something new, I always liken it to jazz because jazz music is such, it's never linear, it's always like different components. But let's circle it back to Juan the Prince. Man, you're born a Chilean actor, right?
Yes.
But you're also part Argentinian, which is amazing.
Like a quarter. I don't know. My mom. Quarter, yeah, because my mom, his dad was Argentinian.
Right on.
But I've never been to Argentina. I would love to. It's like one of the places I would love to go to. And but Chile and Argentina, they're obviously a little bit similar in the way we like the culture, the way we eat, the way we express ourselves. It's very similar. So
I'm gonna say I love the passion you guys have. Yeah. But I'm not gonna say just you guys but every person I've met, Argentinian. Well, you know what? All Latinos, right? We all carry that same flair and positivity and just flamboyance almost that is undeniable.
Yeah,
it's undeniable.
I grew up in. Sometimes I tell people I'm Latin, and they don't believe me.
Yeah,
because I grew up in Santa Clarita, so I'm very like
anglicized.
Suburban. Suburban.
Okay, I like that.
And I lived there my entire life for I think 20 years.
And
then I moved to Sherman Oaks.
Love it.
And then that's when my life, I started studying film.
Okay.
And then that's when a lot of doors started opening up for me. I became an assistant for a celebrity, not even knowing really that would ever happen to me. Like, I never expected that. And so that's how I started. And then from there, I started going to like the top events in Los Angeles. Beautiful. And, then started, acting, got my manager and agent, met Layla from her one of her best friend, Brenda Mejia.
Sure.
So she's like, oh, my friend has an agency. You really have to.
Right.
And then now, me and Layla are like best friends. She's the sweetest girl in the
She's
world.
fantastic.
And yeah, and then I work in production, and then I also have my own firm. So it's just been, everything has been
Wow.
organic. I've never forced and
Right.
never really even dreamed about being in the industry. It just kind of happened.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
You allow it to ebb and flow and go with it. And
Yeah.
eventually it leads you to these paths of greatness that
Yeah.
not in our wildest dreams sometimes,
No, yeah. I think I just one day I was like to the universe, like, what is it you want me to do with my life? I know there's something that I can do. And somehow it led me to entertainment. But I always wanted my dream was to be an ultrasound technician. I wanted to like tell, it was my dream to like tell the parents like, oh, it's a boy or girl, and like see them cry. And then I had this fantasy that I was going to be crying with them and hugging them. And
That sounds like a novella.
A novella, yeah. And so, but yeah, somehow,
Yeah.
life has other plans for you sometimes.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. For
You
sure.
made plans and God laughs, right? As they say, and it just takes you in a whole different direction. Let's talk about directions. When you're a kid, you grew up in Valencia. What was Valencia like, dude? Because it's so beautiful up there. I like it, dude. I mean, other than obviously the fact that we've all been like dealing with fires and now the water, right? Situations. Now we're, like gonna deal with like landslides and whatnot. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But what was life like for you as take us back to the beginning, the humble beginnings?
Valencia's like all I ever knew because, as you know, Santa Clarita, there's a lot of filming that happens in Santa Clarita, as you know, but it's very small town, small. Everybody knows everybody. The high school, I was, the only openly gay kid in my high school. There was not a lot of openly gay people. I mean, now I'm sure it's a little bit different, but it's a little bit conservative. And yeah, I would never say anything. It wasn't my favorite place to live, only because I lived there for so many years. So when I moved to LA, it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know all of this existed. And there was West Hollywood and, and all these cool things to do, because in Valencia, all you really had to do was go to the mall and then hang out with the friends that from Valencia. It wasn't, it's all I ever knew.
You're like, oh, that's what the other side of that wall holds.
Yeah. And have you ever seen Santa Clarita Diet?
Oh, dude, I thought about that. I didn't want to cut you off, but I completely thought about what's her name?
Drew Barrymore.
E.T. Yeah.
Is that Drew?
Yeah, she was the E.T. girl, but
yeah,
I'm aging myself.
No. Yeah. So no, it's beautiful. Like if you move there and you've never lived there before, but because I've lived there my entire life, it felt so good to move to LA, and it was a whole different world out here for sure.
My good friend Brandy Aguilar, who does voiceover, she's an actress. She's a good friend of mine, and she used to live there up until she got married and moved away. But she was living there forever.
A lot of people in the industry live there.
Yeah.
A lot of Disney Channel stars. I remember the movie Halloween Town,
the
Disney Channel.
Oh, that was great. I loved it.
She lived on the street next to me.
Wow.
I know Ashley Tisdale from high school. A lot of Disney Channel stars grew up in Valencia. Pretty Little Liars, a lot of the XO.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because the thing is there's a lot of acting classes in Valencia and a lot of production, and so yeah, a lot of people come from there.
Very cool. And so you've always been like a fashionista of sorts. You've always liked fashion, right?
No.
In
high school, I mean, I started to in high school just because, that's when I started to just care about what people think. And I really loved Guess in those days. Guess was
love Guess.
Everybody would go to Guess. And
yeah. You remember the models that we had the Guess model thing on your folders and
so
binders.
I actually worked at Guess. I remember in Valencia. I lasted for a day. It was just not for me, the retail.
Why was that?
It was just, I think I knew something was not aligned.
Right.
Retail was not for me, but
love that.
But yeah, no.
Do you have great customer service skills though, bro? Just perfect. No.
I mean, the thing is I don't know. Sometimes in retail, it's it's just a whole different world. And I worked at Guess. I worked at Banana Republic, and
I worked at Banana Republic.
Did you really?
Glendale Galleria many years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that was my favorite store in high school, and But
that was so cool.
Yeah.
So when did you start thinking?
Fashionista, you were asking.
Yeah.
So, okay, I started to work for that celebrity.
Oh, so you're a socialite first. Once you were in that kind of a world where you were assisting and you got tossed into this whole other world.
I always say my life in the beginning was like Devil Wears Prada. I did not know anything I was doing. I would always get in trouble because I would always do the wrong thing, and just and then just but it's one of the most gratifying jobs ever because it's so hard, but you learn so much about, you know, just celebrity culture and entertainment, and you just become so good at, you know, everything really in that field. And so I grew a lot, and I'm still, you know, good friends with, you know, the person I worked for to this day. Um,
Very
but
cool,
yeah, no,
man.
I'm grateful for that experience and everything she taught me. Um, and yeah, I grew a lot. Her name's Rachel, but
Yeah,
I love her. But she's the reason why I think I'm so strong now,
yeah.
and um and tough. I'm tough.
Right.
I'm kind, but I'm really tough
You're
when it
very
comes to
resilient,
my
man.
what I want and how I
Yeah,
like things done. And yeah.
right. That's great. That means you have self-value and
Mhm.
you have a tinge of like kind of like things have to be done methodically because you know what you want
Yeah.
and you like, time is money after
Yeah,
all.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes people in the industry, like, they're always saying, "Oh, this person's mean," or "This
Mhm.
person's," and sometimes it's not that they're mean, like A-list celebrities. You know, sometimes it's just they're tough because they know what it takes to get the perfect, scene and what all of that, and everything that
Entails.
comes together
Mhm.
entails. And so it's not that they're mean. Some of them are, but sometimes
I like
sometimes it's just
that.
because that's how they got to where they are, is being
Yeah.
tough. And
Clarification, some of them are.
yeah, some of them are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
every industry, there's those people that.
listen, Tinseltown just looks like it's all glitter and stars and
Right.
but rainbows and whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, there's more to it than that. And you got like the back seat basically of the industry. You were taught firsthand by watching this person that you're associated with
Yeah.
by virtue of work.
Yeah, and I didn't even
Wow.
have Instagram at that time. I didn't have
Yeah.
social media. I honestly was just going through like a lot of, just when you graduate high school, it's kind of like
Sure.
a rough time. It's like some people, the transition is very easy
Mhm.
from high school to just life and what they want to do. For me, it was not easy right away. And then when I started studying film, that's when
Where'd you study film, Juan?
I studied at Columbia College Hollywood. So right
Wow.
around here
Yeah.
actually. And then now I'm
Yeah.
at
It's
LA Film School. I went
okay.
back for my degree, but I
Uh-huh.
actually left because I was working for my film student friend was like, "Hey, you want to come to this event with me?" And then it was a gifting suite, and then I met this woman, and I became her intern, and then she hired me and was her assistant. And
Did you have to be good with detail?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, I was like I said, I was a mess in the beginning. I
Yeah.
did not know they actually wanted the two girls that were working for her. No, the girl that was working for her,
Uh-huh.
I later actually, maybe I shouldn't say this, but
That's okay.
she
You
didn't.
can just leave out the names.
I knew that she didn't want. I know
Uh-huh.
that the person I was working for was thinking about firing me. And then what happened was
Oh boy.
because we went to a nylon event,
Okay.
and that's when really like my inner publicist came out, where I was like, no,
Sure.
she's on the list, get her in. And
Love
it
it.
was just like thousands of, so many people
Yeah.
there. And that's when, things kind of did a 180. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually really good at speaking to people. And I'm not good at like the computer stuff and tech, but I
Mhm.
told her, I talked to her one day. I said, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. And I'm really good at connecting with people. I'm really good at going to events with you. And, you know, picking up dresses for you from showrooms. I've Been Bitten was one of them. I can't remember the other ones. And yeah, I was more of the socialite, kind of
That's so cool.
connecting talent.
Right.
Yeah.
You're making those connections.
Hmm.
You know, it's funny. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people don't know this on camera, but off camera, I do that many a times because in some way I kind of mirror what you're saying
Yeah.
or echo your deal with driving. I was once upon a time a limo driver for a
Okay.
lot of
That's
like
awesome.
famous people,
Hmm.
and as such, same thing. Like people just think you're just driving. No,
Hmm.
we're calling the agent. We're calling the handlers, the people
Hmm.
that are gonna, from the person that's gonna do the makeup to the person that's gonna open the door of the car to the person that's gonna take them, lead them into the green room. I was getting in touch with everyone. I was getting calls that just bombarded as I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'm taking calls and then trying to figure out what's your ETA here. Do you know if this person has specific allergies to this or that? Because we weren't told, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this. And then fast forward, I get to meet different people and then
Hmm.
I make connections
Right.
to like, hey, by the way, I know so and so. This person might be good.
Right.
Which I just thought about somebody I was gonna send to you, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about it after. We
No,
did
so
mention
I've been
that.
doing the PR for years for free.
Isn't that
Like
something?
I
Me
was
too.
joke. I was like, oh, go to this person, and I
Yeah.
didn't really. And people were telling me you really should like do this as a job connect, but no one. It was Layla who actually said, oh, you
Layla.
should open up your own PR firm, or she
Yeah.
said. And so when she said that, it clicked, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's perfect. And so that's when I started my own business.
Shout out
PR
to
business.
Layla. Hi, Layla.
Hi, Layla.
Hope to see you
Love
soon. This guy's awesome, and you are too. Thank you for sending him my way.
That's the thing too. Like in this industry, is meeting very genuine people.
She's
like
awesome.
who you see with her is who you get, and she's.
And it's hard to
so
find
sweet.
people like that, right? In this industry.
Mm,
I mean,
it can
I'm
be,
just
yeah.
saying, like, if they're
Yeah.
peppered in there,
Yeah.
but not everyone you meet, because a lot of people are kind of sort of waiting on the wayside, like kind of on
Yeah.
hold, on standby, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I could piggyback write this person. I could write their coattails.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know this,
Yeah.
and a lot of that, but it's so refreshing to meet people that like Layla, such as you,
Yeah.
people that are genuine and really do it. They're about it, and they're really literally helping.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
don't know. Some people like the negative attention. I've never been the one to be like, I never want to be called like a diva or anything negative, because to me, people don't want to work with somebody like that. So I
Yeah.
always want to leave a good impression. But there are people like that in LA who are, that's just the way they are. They're
Yeah.
not, but no, it's people
and if
like
they're bad, you gotta kill them with kindness, huh?
sometimes you just can't
gotta-
even do that. Sometimes you just have to like,
Unload on them.
wish them well.
Yeah, and part ways.
Yeah.
That's very important. I really, there's a lesson to be learned here, guys. Take out your notebooks and start writing. There's a lot of wonderful, truthful nuggets here.
Yeah.
Kernels of truth that are being like honestly spewed in this
Yeah.
panel right now. I really, you got a lot going, man, and it's important to really listen in. I mean, a lot of folks out there, they want to learn how to do things, and such as important to lend your ear and hear like shows like Almost Famous with Jim Francis, and
Mhm.
you hear Juan La Prince. And I'm very excited that what you're doing, you're embarking on things, these wonderful things that you're doing, your
Right.
PR company,
Thank you.
and you're so like PR material, because
Yeah.
I've dealt with it firsthand.
Yeah.
So, obviously in the business that I was in,
Yeah.
driving and being a bodyguard and whatnot, you meet these people, and I love, the fact that, yeah, Layla,
Such a
just
sweet girl.
yeah.
I think one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. Just so down to earth, and that's it's when we're done. When life is short, so no one's gonna remember what show I was on or what movie I was
Right.
on, but they'll be like, oh, that kid was so like kind to me, and
Yeah.
that's always what I want my legacy to be like. Is how I made people feel. Maya Angelou has that quote: "People
Wow.
will forget what you say." But people will never forget how you
Treat
made
'em.
them feel. And it's one of my favorite quotes for sure. And I always
Definitely.
remember that when I
Catch more
meeting
bees with
anybody.
honey. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, but speaking of which, I do like to recognize you for your film contributions,
Thank
and
you.
you've done Sofa King Funny.
Mhm.
That's
Now on
right now
TV.
where you play Terry.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about that, and where we can find it, because I understand it's Tubi, right?
Yeah, Tubi. So I auditioned for that role maybe, probably 5 years ago, and they said that they wanted to work with me, and didn't really think much of it, honestly, because sometimes you're just filming, and then
Mhm.
this industry is so fast paced.
Sure.
And then the TLC Chinese theater was like, oh, we really want to screen this
How
show,
phenomenal is
and
that?
then Tubi picked it up. I think I just got news about that like a month ago. I think it's on there now.
Love it.
So yeah, and then I've done things for Amazon, so many networks. I feel very blessed. And
Well, you did
yeah.
Heart and Soul.
Yeah.
You've done, just to name a few, and you also, you've done Abducted. That's cool. That's a short film, or what's the plot line on that?
Yeah, I play
Being abducted.
I play a bad guy in that film, which
Ooh.
is completely opposite of me. And I think that was before the pandemic. I think I shot that, and then I've done I've done a lot of reality. I just did a show on Amazon, which is kind of like Shark Tank.
Okay.
It's called I believe it's called 90 Day Hustle, and where they actually contacted me and they're like, we would love for you to be a judge on our show. And
very cool.
tell these influencers or upcoming brands what you think about their products, give them advice. And so I think that's on Amazon right now. Yeah.
Ooh, I got Amazon. We're gonna watch that, honey, when I get
Yeah.
home. So that's really cool. And you're just prolific. You and Layla are always working on. So you tell us about your fashion shows that you guys do. Those
Well,
are the talk of the town, by the way. It's a
they're
splash.
her
I know a
they're
lot
her
of people.
they're her fashion shows.
Okay.
She's she runs her agency, RLC Talent
That's
Agency,
right.
and then she's been doing the shows, I think, for more than a year now, or maybe 2 years. I don't even know, but she works so hard, and she has, you know, sometimes up to 500 people or more at these shows, and she invites celebrities and
Yeah.
everybody. But
Jamie Foxx. I've seen a lot of
a
people
lot
there.
of people have gone. Shane Mosley
Shane
was there,
Mosley,
and
boxer, baby.
I mean, Layla knows everybody.
She
So
does.
so yeah, but that was a whole different world for me, because she was like, "Hey, I would really love for you to work in production, with the models." And I had no idea what that world was like. And so
Once
it's
again,
crazy back there. Yeah, like it's backstage is crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
But the thing about Layla, she works with all the people are real super nice. There's no divas that we work with or she works with, and the
That's
shows
beautiful.
always run so smoothly, which is amazing. In the beginning, I was kind of going like, what do I like? What do I do? How do I talk to these
How do I even
models?
start, right?
But yeah, no, everything is great now, and she does them at really cool locations, and so you definitely need to come one day.
Well, I do. I gotta just lose weight. I gotta lose all that.
You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate
Lose
you.
weight. I mean,
But
yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. I should. We're gonna I'm gonna tell the missus for us to get like together and get ready. I mean, my idea of getting dressed though, I feel like I'm so underdressed when I go to events. My thing is like Chuck Taylor's, and I do that sort of thing. Yeah, super.
Me too. Remember this? I was wearing a blazer. I was like, I have to take it off. I have to put on
this guy was all dressed to the nines. So listen, he's just like, hey, he looked at me, goes, hey, I could be a little comfortable. And he put on this other sweater that looks really well stitched. It's really nice. You're well put together, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Just gotta tell you that, Juan. So what are some of the cool things that that you've encountered at these shows where you've gone, that are kind of cool?
It's just a whole different world, because I knew fashion from when I was an assistant,
right?
Because what happened was my boss would tell me, hey, would you go to these showrooms in LA, pick out dresses for me, and I was really good at that. Because I would get a sense of what she would wear just in her everyday life, and then I would get really cool pieces and outfits for her, and so I knew a little bit of it. But the fashion industry is a whole different world. Of course, I'm familiar with the top models that are working these days, and some of the models that Layla works with are working models, and they've done a lot of amazing things. And but I had no idea really of that industry.
But I've seen you grace some of the magazines that I've seen you on to the cover, and that's pretty cool.
But that's more like that's more like print modeling. As far as this runway model.
Right. We're talking about walk. Yeah. So, but you have you yourself, have you walked the
Layla was like, you should just jump in there, walk. And so I did once or twice, and my friend was like, you look just too serious when I was walking down there. And I was like, I don't know, just how but there's definitely an art to modeling. It's not easy. It's there's an art to it,
like an etiquette
for sure. And that's why a lot of models, they go to modeling school, and they try and learn and pose. I'm good at posing and stuff for pictures, but for a catwalk, I don't know. It's not my thing, but I love working in the production and back with the girls. And
so let's take us through a day. Like, how does it's gotta be the most insane. Do you drink your coffee that morning?
I drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee?
Twice in my life, coffee, and I don't drink alcohol. I'm like very very healthy. Just drink water.
Super healthy. Yeah, because I asked him, hey, you want cocaine? He goes, no, hey man, just stick to some water.
But you should. The production side of it, you see the outside
logistics and all that.
Yeah, it's just mostly me running around to all the models, like, okay, you have to go to this designer, you have to go to this designer, and there's a list, and then there's also Layla, who's running around getting changed and talking to the models, but she's always so sweet to all of us. And then but yeah, it's mostly just a lot of running around telling models to change, and sometimes the designers have 2 looks instead of 1, which adds another kind
Layer.
of layer because then you have to tell the models, okay, you need to like hurry because we can't have the same model walking down
the
again
runway.
with the same, so
Yeah.
it's a whole but I love it, and we've gotten a good rhythm to it. When things are new, it's like for me it was especially
Yeah.
such a new world, but
Once you get into the groove and the headspace,
yeah,
then
but you definitely need to come.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it next time for sure.
Okay.
And you guys, this is fantastic. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get my dancing shoes on.
Yeah, do it.
Is there
Yeah.
music involved after the fact? Does you have like does it when it winds down? Is there like a
I think it's
party atmosphere? No,
people stay after the show and
Okay.
mingle around, and there have
like a
been
little
people
mixer of
dancing. It
sorts.
depends
Yeah.
on the venue
Okay.
also, but yeah, for sure there have been dancing at some venues for sure. Yeah.
This is rad. So let me ask you a question. Do you keep in touch with the said celebrity of sorts, the person that you used to work with? Do you keep in touch?
I do keep in touch. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
And
cool.
that's
What does she think about your evolvement, like over the years, like how you've evolved into transform yourself into what you've become?
I think there's one that stands out, one person that I worked for, because I worked for a few people, but one person, she always said, she always believed in me. I was kind of a not as organized as I am now, and I have a better eye for the industry. I was just a new kid. I didn't even have social media, like I said, and
Wow.
and so she's so proud of me. And
Yeah.
I remember her husband told me, he said, "You're gonna get really far in this life because you just have such a good heart,
Yeah.
and you're real and you're genuine.
You're
And
wholehearted.
just don't ever change." And so, so I always try to, um, but it feels weird. It feels weird to like be an assistant and then do acting and then production work and then just kind of become who you worked for. It's a kind of a weird feeling, but I feel grateful for
Your
sure.
parents are super proud of you, I bet.
Yeah, I'm really close with my parents, and so yeah, they're very. In the beginning, they didn't get it,
Yeah.
and but now they were like, oh, he can make a living out of this, and he does well, and he works hard, and so they know I'm smart, so they trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, that you are. And so do you still keep in touch with any high school friends or anyone that you're tight with?
I am old school. I love keeping in contact with people that I really have known me forever.
Yeah.
I'm not really like I'm a Cancer. Like I was born in July, so we're
Okay.
introvert extrovert,
Right.
and so I have a lot of acquaintances, but best friends I have very few, and some of them are from high school.
And far between, right?
Yeah,
Like a couple.
and
Yeah.
and Layla's definitely one of them, and but for high school friends, yeah, I do keep in touch with some people. And
What do you think the industry's like now? There's more brown faces on TV, more people that we can relate to, more relatable. It's no longer like Ponch back in the day, like for some of us older folks.
yeah.
You watch, not that, but you kind of think like, oh, that guy Poncherello looks like he's either Italian or Latino, but
Yeah.
he's gracing the silver screen, so to speak. But nowadays, go ahead.
No, I think it's a whole new world. I think fame is very different than what it used to be. I think the door was very very tight before, and I think now it's like you have social media, you have influencers, you have different types of people now that are considered famous, and Netflix has done a wonderful job with inclusivity with different Latino different
Yeah.
races, and also the LGBTQ community. And so yeah, there's different platforms, and now you can really just make whatever you want and upload it to, I guess not TikTok anymore, but
Yeah.
TikTok when it was still here. And yeah, and you can just make whatever you want, make it, and I think that's cool.
Just make it happen. It's a
have a lot of
do it
ideas.
yourself
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah. And but
So-
yeah, social media has changed everything, I think.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree? Social media
Oh,
has changed
absolutely. And the fact of the matter is, before it used to be almost like this intangible. You couldn't touch the celebrity, untouchables. It used to be, and nowadays,
Yeah.
you remember the first time? What was the first time you remember, like reaching out to someone? Hey, that's a cool piece you got, or like threads or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, we like the way you did your hair, your hairdo, and somebody would reply, "Thank you," and he was like
Yeah.
somebody famous.
Yeah.
Like suddenly, I remember one years ago. I forget who was a rockster, like Zach De La Rocha or something.
Okay.
I was a huge Rage
Mhm.
Against the Machine fan, and back in the day, and I grew up with rock, and anyway, that's a whole other story. But a lot of rock influences and a fusion of that, and with hip hop and whatnot. And I said something to Zach on the thread. It was Facebook, right? When
Okay.
Facebook was at the top of the height of its
Yeah.
heyday, in the
That-
2009 to to
I
10.
was in high school. It was so big.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And so I said something and to the fact like, yo, that's so rad, that because his father grew up in my neighborhood. I was like, dude, that's so cool, that's
Yeah.
rad. And he put down, oh, thanks a lot, man. And I was like, wait, that just did that just happen? I celebrated the whole thing. It was a
Yeah, yeah.
celebratory moment of sorts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, at what point did you like realize that nowadays that's just commonplace, right? Like people could just let me chime in and then they chime in.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think social media has definitely changed the game a lot. I
Uh-huh.
think now you can be um, famous just by, some dumb, funny video that you
Yeah.
make. And,
Yeah.
but to me, the people who are, famous are,
Yeah.
like, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, those are the
Right.
people,
Right.
Beyonce, and those are the people that I think are really stars.
Do you think what differentiates that from the other folks you're talking about in terms of their craft?
I think in terms of their craft, and I think longevity, you see that a lot of these digital platforms that we were using, they're in and out. But however, an actor's career is, you always get to see their movies and everything. Now TikTok is, people are going crazy because it's like now TikTok is not here anymore because
They're immortalized on the
yeah.
movies, right?
And
Yeah.
so what does that mean for a lot of TikTok influencers? And so
Well, for them also, it's their bread and butter,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, which is good. It's good. Find whatever you like to do, and if you can have an audience and a platform, then that's amazing. But I think, when I look
Right.
at stars, I think of like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know,
Clark
Angelina,
Gable
who
back in
I,
the
yeah,
day.
Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe,
Marilyn
like
Monroe.
those were like icon stars. And but I think in a way our culture has shifted in the sense that now you can't, these celebrities are not looked as gods anymore.
Yeah.
Before they could get away with anything.
Leveled the playing field.
Now it's like people get canceled for everything, and so and I think in a way that's, it's good and it's bad. It's good in the way that, you can't do negative things and think it's okay, but it's bad in the sense is I think people like to see the downfall of a lot of people in the industry.
Isn't it weird?
And it's really weird. And so,
Why do you think that is? Because like when the fires were happening
mhm,
in that Pacific Palisades zone, specifically there, folks are that's good. You all the trolls and let them burn. They can buy another house.
yeah, a lot of
It's
celebrities.
like,
Yeah.
now who's laughing? Now
Yeah.
who's happy? Is it because you think like probably the envy because they're the envy of the town? Like a lot of times, they'll take photos in Aspen, like Colorado. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people are in Aspen now. Um, and folks that go to the Oscars and they get opportunities that maybe are not opportunities that are necessarily at your doorstep I'm talking about in terms for the
Right.
generalizing for the common Joe on the common person. And so many a times I think folks they tend to feel like, okay, this is not something that's feasible for me
Accessible.
and
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
So because of that, like they're more loftier than I am. So fuck them, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then they want to burn them at the stake because why? Just because
Yeah.
they're living their best years, but they worked hard. Nobody tells you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the first one to say, because I've dealt with so many people in the industry,
Right.
people work and pay their dues.
They do. Yeah.
There are people that are grandfathered in because their parents are producers. That's short-lived. You could tell the ones that are talented, those that
Yeah.
don't branch out on their own. Because
Yeah.
those that don't branch out on their own, they do one film or two and they're done. That means their dad just placed them there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the ones that work
Nepotism.
right,
Yeah.
nepotism, and the ones that work extra hard and they put in the blood, sweat, and tears into the making of their careers. Their
Yeah.
careers blossom, like Angelina Jolie,
Yeah. Yeah.
whose father is a great actor
Yeah.
himself in his own right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think people just write stuff on social media. You can write whatever you want,
Right.
and you can,
Get it's a platform, right?
and you don't even mean what you say half the time,
Right.
and I think it's crazy. I think because I know what celebrity really is, I've
Yeah.
observed what most of people, how they are, and they're just regular people, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't look at them as, any bigger or better than anybody else, but I know a lot of people do, and, don't always wish them well. And also people change. One day people love Jennifer
Right.
Lopez, another day they hate her,
I
and
know.
she's a very talented woman, and
Right. She
you
could
know,
sing and act, right?
she can sing and she can act, and
She could do just about anything.
yeah. And so people change also. They're like, oh, I love this person, or next day they hate them because of some.
So it's all relative. Doesn't
Yeah.
like it just depends who you ask because you're never gonna please everyone at the end of
Right.
the day.
Right.
That's also true. You guys, very important to stay true to self, stay true to who you are,
Yeah.
and do your work. Do what makes you happy. Don't do it for the fame
Yeah.
because fame is short lived. It's a fleeting moment, right?
Yeah.
But do it for the sake of the craft. If you
Yeah.
really truly enjoy what you're doing, if it's in the industry, be it acting, be it singing, if you do it, money will follow.
Yeah.
But I believe that was something a person imparted many years ago. Like, just do it because you really enjoy doing it. Do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Which these days is what I do. I do acting as a hobby now.
Yeah.
Like for me, I love to entertain,
Yeah.
and this is a form of entertainment, but it's also a very important platform in that we have a mouthpiece,
Right.
and it's important to tell great stories, which is you're the story I'm telling today,
Yeah.
and I'm very fortunate to be able to do
That's so
so.
sweet of you.
And
Thank
yeah, and
you.
you're so gracious to have come all the way up here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
from the deal you were at, the event, to to impart wisdom, like all this stuff that you're saying. Such a young a guy that just has a lot of still long ways to go, but some of the trajectory you've already on, like it shows that you're doing big things, man.
No.
And
Yeah.
and
No.
it's
I feel.
inspiring. It's very inspiring.
I do feel blessed. I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
working for people that I've always looked up to and meeting some really amazing people that I never thought in my life I would meet, and projects. So I do feel grateful and blessed, but I don't live in it. I don't. I think the problem with some people, especially young actors, is or young talent, celebrity,
Mhm.
whoever, is they live in it and it becomes their identity, and that's when they start doing the drugs and the drinking and
Wow.
they go crazy. And so I
You know how
know.
to part your real, like your life, your private life
Yeah.
from your work life, right?
Yeah, I know who I am, and I know that, um, Juan the Prince is not a real. That's just, what you see on Instagram, and
Right.
you see images of me with different celebrities or projects, but that who I really am is, you know, totally different. I just love being at home,
Yeah.
chilling with my best friends,
Yeah.
and
What
so
do you
I know
do
the difference.
what do you do when you're at home? By the way, take us through a day in the life of Juan the Prince.
I'm working a lot, to be honest, but if I'm not, I really just am, cancers, we love to be inside. We love to, like, our own time, be with people we love and care about, and we need to recharge a lot. I find myself when I'm not working, I just like to be at home recharging, talking to people from high school that I've known
Yeah.
forever, who really know me, and yeah, and I'm cool. Like, I'm not someone who's like going out clubbing at, a lot of my friends do that like till 3 in the morning. For me, I'm
Wow.
like, that's not me.
Yeah.
I don't.
So you're resourceful and you're very productive.
Yeah.
Like you spend your time wisely.
Yeah. I work a lot and I recharge a lot. It's basically
Yeah.
my life. Yeah.
So cool, man.
Yeah. You need a
And
balance.
do you cook at all or like
Oh, I suck at cooking.
yeah?
No. Yeah. I do. I know how to
I'm
make the
objectively a
basics.
bad cook myself. I can't.
I would love to, because I think art in itself is like cooking in itself is like an art.
Putting food together,
That looks,
plates.
I look at Pinterest and I look at all those amazing meals. And so it's something I would definitely love to learn more of. And
Yeah.
but yeah.
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food?
Gosh, I eat pretty, like, my diet now is mostly just like a lot of green juices and
So you're vegetarian.
green. No, I eat like fish, and
Okay.
I
Pescatarian.
was vegan at one point, but it didn't work out for me personally. And
Yeah.
but I love empanadas. I mean,
Oh my
if I
God.
could,
You just mentioned that earlier.
yeah, I said,
So
yeah,
delicious,
yeah.
man.
So I love empanadas,
We're
and
going to his house next. Like after this, we're going to
yeah,
his house.
she actually, what did she mentioned my mom? She just spoke to me. She said
Yeah.
she was making not empanadas, gosh, tamales, I think, tamales, and I don't know. There's these really good Chilean dishes she makes
I
sometimes,
love
and
it. It
yeah,
sounds anything Latin sounds fantastic to me. It's my
yeah,
like favorite. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, man. I'm all about it.
yeah.
I'm all about it. So I'm ready. As you can tell, look at me. I've eaten quite a bit in my day. So inquiring minds want to know, like, are you dating right now, or what's your status?
Yeah, I'm dating.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
cool.
it's dating, and everyone always says this, but dating in LA is kind of just so,
Uh-huh.
interesting. And
Right.
my dating life has been interesting. Just, the just looking back on my past, it's
Sure.
been interesting
Okay.
people that I picked. And so
Right.
now I know myself better. We were talking about my favorite
Yeah.
quote by Maya Angelou. Another quote I really like of hers is, "When you know better, you do better." So I know better now than some past people that I picked, and that's okay. You're learning,
As you
and
go.
as you go, and this industry especially is so crazy, and so many things are always happening, and it's very fast paced. But I want the person that I date is someone who is genuine and who,
Right.
like a best friend, and
Yeah.
has to be, reciprocated for me. And
Sure. That's it.
so, yeah.
Don't expect anything less.
Yeah. I dated a lot of closeted guys when I was in
Oh, really?
Valencia. Yeah. I did a lot. And that was a learning experience in itself.
Right.
It's like, because you don't win in that situation. And a lot of
No.
actors,
Yeah.
not, in Hollywood are,
Sure.
dating girls. I mean, sexuality is not in a box now. It's kind of like you like what you like.
It's like,
And for a
yeah.
lot of people in LA
Yeah.
and
Would you
or
consider
in the
like a
world.
pansexual? A lot of people are pansexuals in
I mean,
Hollywood.
I'm gay completely,
Right. Right.
but
I know
I
you are,
did
but
my ex-boyfriend was
yeah. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
pansexual and yeah, but I think learning from those experiences is that, you have to love yourself enough to and value yourself to be with someone who, treats you,
With respect.
with respect and, will want to be seen with you in public. And that's something
Right.
that I struggled with a lot in the past
Yeah.
because the people I would pick were not people that wanted to be seen in public with another man
Yeah.
or, even if it was just friendly,
It's Hollywood at its finest. Believe me, there's a lot of
yeah.
people out there
And
like
it's
that,
crazy
man.
because now it's like the industry has changed. Even my acting coach said, 10 years ago, I could never find a script for a gay character.
Yeah.
But now it's like you have Netflix and you have these platforms that are dedicated to LGBTQ content.
Sure.
And so it's, and Netflix has transgender and
Mhm.
all this, so even Disney Channel, I was, watching it the other day, they have a gay character. And so that's really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that there's more inclusivity
They're
now.
breaking barriers, man.
Yeah,
Everything, it's what it's about.
yeah.
I'm curious to see where your PR firm is going to go and how awesome that's going to be, man. I
Yeah.
just can't wait to see you flourish in every area in your life, and just to know you is really awesome, man. It's
That's
to
so
have you in
sweet.
my circle of friends now.
No, yeah.
And
No.
we're almost, oh wow, it's crazy. Where did time go? I thought
I
we're
know, it
just
goes by so
starting here and
fast.
we're like shot out of a cannon. Now it's like 42 minutes in. Oh my
Oh, no
God.
way. Has it?
So yeah, where did time go?
Crazy.
How what are your social media handles so the viewership, all 1.2 million that are watching,
Okay.
can follow you?
So I just have Instagram. So it's Juan LaPrince _ on Instagram. And then my website, my PR firm is jprince -pr.com. Yeah.
Awesome, very cool. And we're going to be talking about that more in the nearby future.
Yeah.
Try to push that out there to
Yeah.
many more of my
I
friends.
think it's
And
important, to
yeah,
help talent. This field is so competitive
very much so.
and as most PR firms charge up to like 10K. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. I
Yeah,
would never charge that much. And so yeah, I think it's good when you are genuine and you want to see people flourish. And I always am the type of person with my acting friends, or they just started acting. I'm like, hey, I will let me talk to my agent or my manager. And
sure.
I feel like whenever you're sending positive energy, it comes back to you. And so I always am trying to help, people in the industry.
Right.
Always. Now I just charge for it. For something.
Yeah, you do a lot of freebies, and then eventually,
Yeah.
you have to charge
Yeah.
because it's also, you value your time. It means, you've given enough,
Mhm.
and now it's me to collect.
Right.
It's time for me to collect. Let me
Yes.
put my hat around.
It's just the way the world works.
It
for
works.
sure.
Everyone needs to. We all need to eat at the end of the day, and it's a good business. And I'm in the business of helping others as well. So whatever I can do for you, consider it done.
Yeah. What has been your favorite film
My
this
favorite,
year?
my favorite film.
Yeah, that's
as of
nominated for
right
Oscars.
now. Okay, so listen to this. We saw the Bob Dylan. What is it? Completely Unknown or something. The
Mhm.
Bob Dylan. It's like what do you call it? A biopic
Okay.
thing with him and the girl in the actress in
Mhm.
Top Gun, the latest Top Gun. I
Okay.
forget, Barrero.
Okay.
She plays Joan Baez, who was half Mexican, half
Yeah.
American. half white. She was a kind of activist of sorts of their time,
Awesome. I
and
haven't seen this.
yeah, and it's great. It's in theaters. We just watched it like
Yeah.
2 nights ago, and I think it might I forget the actor, but that portrayed him. But the great part about it was that it was a music. I love music,
Mhm.
and but I'm also I'm crazy about the Selena film, the one where she portrays this Emilia Perez, I think.
Okay, yeah,
And so that I'm really curious to see how it's gonna do. And
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of buzz in Hollywood right now. A lot of my
Yeah.
friends are telling me that it's probably gonna
Good
do. What about
market.
you?
I like the one, I can't remember. I think it's called The Substance with Demi Moore. Is that what it's
Okay,
called?
okay.
And
Yeah, Demi
it's
Moore.
it's
Wow.
talking about like youth and
Sure.
something. Obviously it's a lot of layers in the film, but she actually got nominated,
Yeah,
which I think is so crazy. I didn't realize that was her first Oscar nomination.
dude.
She's been in the business for so many years.
She did Saint Elmo's Fire. If you haven't seen that, guys,
I
watch
haven't seen
that.
that
It's
one.
an oldie but goodie.
Okay.
It's a film where it's got like the Brat Pack in it. Like she was part of the Brat Pack in the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
It's not like 40 years ago. Like
Yeah,
the
right.
Breakfast Club and Molly Ringwald and
Yeah,
16 Candles.
Yeah.
But she was in St. Elmo's Fire, and that was really good.
Mhm.
And she was in a lot of other stuff. I mean, it's crazy how we've come this far. Now so it's never too late too.
Never
It
too
speaks
late. Yeah.
there's always a opportunity for everyone eventually, right?
And she's 60.
six-
She looks great.
Yeah,
She's amazing. But I think that shows a lot of actors. You just have to keep grinding, and it's all of those top actors, actresses are all
Yeah.
grinding. Demi
Yeah.
Moore has been at it for a very long time.
Yeah, I used to drive. I used to drive. What's his name? Sean Penn, and he's also
He
an
won
Oscar.
for Milk.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
amazing film.
That's why I brought it up. I thought about
Yeah.
that was such a great one, and he's fantastic. I mean, Sean Penn and another guy from the early '80s from that time period.
Yeah.
And so, so that's it. I mean, those are great closing words. Keep grinding, right?
Yes, yeah. And don't it's you can't give up, and you have to if you love acting, like you said earlier, you have
Yeah.
to be passionate about it, because you can have like some crap story and have your popularity,
Right.
but to have a longevity and a sustainable career, you have to have passion for acting and what you do, honestly. Yeah.
Guys, Juan Le Prince. What else?
So,
Guys, thank you so much for joining me at another evening with Almost Famous. Until next time, goodbye.
You're listening to Almost Famous with Jim Francis Meza, only on LA Talk Radio.